Hello, everyone. Good evening, right from here in Ghana, and I'm sure it's noon or morning in the States, wherever you are. Greetings to you. Welcome to my live stream. Welcome to my LS. Once again, this channel is dedicated to sharing life stories with you to heal the world. Today, I have a brother I got to know briefly in Ghana, and I later found out that she lives in the States. And today, I'm having a conversation with him. One of the amazing things is that I got to realize from what I knew him with, I got to realize that he's doing something quite different from what I knew him that he was doing. And today, we're going to have a session with him. We're going to have a talk with him, have an interview with him, and then find out why he started what he is running now. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. Stella, welcome on the interview. Great. And Wendy, you're welcome. So we're going to talk about finances, but I'll have my brother talk about it more. You're welcome. All right.
Yes. Okay.
Nice to see you.
Yes, good to see you. Good to see you all the way from
Yes.
America in Ghana.
Yes. How long has it been that we last spoke? How long has it been?
Oh, too long. I'm thinking
Yeah.
maybe 5-6 years time.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah,
I think
it's
so. That was
been
like
some time.
2014 thereabout. 2014 thereabout.
Yeah, 2014, 2015. Yes.
Wow.
So maybe 6 years. Wow.
That's good.
But it feels like
welcome.
not even 1 day.
Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome to Kwesi
Thank you,
Global.
brother.
Welcome to Kwesi Global.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. I am honored. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So I knew you to be a poet, right? A spoken word artist.
Yeah.
You came together with the whole team that you were performing and all of that. And then finally I had to find out that you are running a financial institution, right?
Yes.
First of all, I also want to use this time to congratulate you on your marriage. I wish I was there.
Thank you, brother. Yes, it was quite beautiful. Yes, blessings.
We thank God. So first of all, tell us who you are first. We want to know who you are.
Yes.
And then we can take it from there. Tell us who you are.
Outstanding. So, as you see, my name is Kwesi, but that is not my birth name. That's actually a name that I adopted in Ghana. So, as far as I know, I am American, right? American Black, as they call us here. And when I traveled to Ghana and I saw I can relate so much more to these people, this feels a lot more like home than it did here in America. And I looked at the name that I was given, and even though my mother gave me that name, she gave me that name having never been to Africa herself, right? Having never returned home herself. And the name that I had when I went to Ghana originally did not feel like my own name, right? So I have since changed my name to Kwesi. And as you all know who are watching this, that's Sunday Melbourne, right? In the Tree language. And yes. So it is a name that I have gone by ever since 2014. When I first traveled to Ghana, I lived there for 1 year's time, and then this is when I met Mr. Kwesi Global himself.
I was Poet General because we were doing the same thing together,
Yes, I remember Poet General. That's a wonderful name.
Yes, sir.
That's a wonderful name. But
now I know you are running a financial institution, right?
Yes.
Tell us what inspired you to start this whole institution? What inspired you?
Wow. So even when I traveled to Ghana, right, I had just started writing poetry literally that year. So in 2014, when you and I had met, that is when I started writing poetry, right? And my entire life at that time, I was maybe 20 years old, 20 years young, right? And for those 20 years of my life, I had not written poetry ever. And it's something that I decided to get into because I was so inspired by the things that I was seeing in Ghana at that time. And it was a very life-changing experience. And it's something that took me down many paths that I never foresaw, right? Including getting involved in finances, right?
Yeah.
And I did not go to school to study finances. I did not know much about it. My parents did not talk much about it, but I saw that myself and many people around me were suffering from finances or a lack of financial knowledge. And I knew that this is an opportunity for me to give back to my community, for me to give back to the people that I know and love. And I'm sure you are familiar with Martin Luther King. Yes?
Yes, absolutely. 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 I am.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So he is one of my greatest inspirations still to this day. Even though I've never met him in person, I watch many of his videos. I read many of his books and his speeches, right? And I know one quote that he has is, as long as there is poverty in the world, right? As long as there is poverty, even if you have $1 billion, you are still poor, right? Because we must.
Hold on on that. Hold on that. As long as
Yes.
there's poverty in the world, even if you have $1 billion, you're still poor.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yes. So that's not his exact quote.
Can you elucidate that? Can you elucidate that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I believe in God, right? I'm a very spiritual man, and I don't believe that God put anybody here to be poor. I don't believe he put anybody here to suffer, but I do believe he blesses us in many different ways. Some of us are blessed with natural gifts and talents like you and I in poetry. Other people are blessed with an opportunity to produce wealth, right? To collect money, right? And I don't believe that the purpose of collecting money is to just hold it to ourselves. I believe that everything that we collect, 10% of it should go back to God, right? So God can then distribute it to the rest of the world. But because not enough of us are giving, right? Not enough of us are receiving. And I believe that we are all connected, like everybody on earth, whether you are Black, whether you are white, Ghanaian, American, it doesn't matter. I believe we are all connected and we have a responsibility to give back to others. But I've seen I don't have control over what other people do. I have control over what I do. And that is why I got involved in finances. That is why my wife and I run our own institution. And that's where we're aiming to educate as many people as possible on how to at least be financially well, at the very least. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. It does. So since this is your whole motive for starting it, you mind telling us about the financial institution you are running currently? Tell us about it.
Absolutely. So the name is Alignment Agency. And the reason we have chosen that name is because we believe that financial wellness and spiritual wellness, mental wellness, physical wellness, they are not separate. As a matter of fact, they are one and the same. Because I want to think, all those who are watching this right now, I want you to think, how much of an impact does money have on your life? How much of an impact does a lack of money, a lack of knowledge about how money works have as an impact on your life? And I think here in America, we have poverty in America. I'm sure you know, even though in America, we turn on the TV and they make it seem like Africa is just a poor continent. I saw some very wealthy people in Africa, some very beautiful houses, a lot of nice cars.
There are a lot of people in Africa who are rich. In Ghana, you can tell that.
Very, very rich, very, very rich. I also saw people who were very poor, right? Like here in America. And I believe that poverty has a negative impact on every other aspect of your life. For example, what kind of food you can consume, right? What kind of doctors, even education, what kind of spouse you can marry has a direct relation to your finances. And so we named our financial institution Alignment Agency because we want people to understand wealth and wellness should unite. They should not be separate. And it's okay to want to be wealthy. It's okay to want to have money. But at the same time, the love of money is the root of all evil. What we've learned in the Bible, or what we've learned from certain preachers and mentors who have taught us from the Bible, is not completely true. They say money is the root of all evil. I don't believe that. I believe the love of money is the root of all evil. We should love people. We should love each other. We should love ourselves. So that's why the name of our financial institution is Alignment Agency, because this is what we aim to teach. It is okay to want money, do not love money, love each other, and give to each other, sometimes in the form of money. Does that make sense?
So it does. Absolutely does make sense. Absolutely does make sense. So from what you've explained right now, I'm picking one thing from what you've explained. Do you want to say that poverty is a mindset and riches all as well as a mindset? Do you want to say
absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. And it is so important because when I was in school, I was actually a social science major, right? This is what took me to Ghana, right? Because I studied the history of our people right here in America, in England, in the islands, in Africa. I have studied the history of our people, and I've seen something that happened to us during colonization, something that happened to us during slavery that's still happening, is this idea that to be black, right, to have skin, brown skin, is to be poor in this world, right? And a lot of us believe, because of what we see on television, because what we're told by even our parents sometimes, we believe that we are not meant to be rich. We are not meant to be wealthy. We believe we should give that away, let's say in the form of purchase, in the form of consuming, in the form of fast food. We should give our money away to other people who are more deserving than ourselves, right? And I've seen that that is a poverty mindset, right? Because money, as I'm sure you know, money is an energy, right? Money manifests in the form of the paper that we receive, but money is an energy. And when people are blocking themselves off from money, right? When they say, oh, I cannot afford this, right? When they say, oh, I am poor, right? Or when they say, oh, please give to me, give to me, give to me. That's a poverty mindset. When there is so much money out here for all of us, there's more than enough wealth. There's more than enough abundance out here for all of us. But we have to be open to receiving, right? We have to give that energy in order to get it in return. Yes, I hope that answers your question.
It does. It does. It does. Because I read from a book that was written by William Beckson. The title is Prosperity Decoded. It says that money is a slave to a master and a master to a slave. You know, which it tells me that you have to have the right mindset to be able to manage money. You know.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about it. How is it being accepted? Coming up about with the financial institution you're running, how is it accepted in the US?
Yeah.
How is it accepted? People are accepting it, and especially in the Black community, how are they taking it?
Yeah, wow, you ask great questions. You ask great. This is amazing, right? And I pray that others are watching this and they are inspired or at least intrigued by this conversation, because it's very, very important. But here in my community, in all honesty, this is what I learned when I went to Ghana. There is not much difference between us and the Africans, like our cousins in the homeland. There's not much different because colonization in many ways was slavery, except it was slavery on our own land, right? That's really the only difference. And what I found is that a lot of the things that were taught and told to us about Africans, which we in Black America, we are Africans. We just don't know our names. We don't know our history. We don't know where we're from, but we are Africans here in America, right? And what I found is that we were taught and told the same things that many of our brothers and sisters and cousins still in Africa were taught and told. So to answer your question, it's really similar to like Black leaders in Africa, right? Or even education, right? And I saw, because I attended the University of Ghana, and I saw that many of the things that were taught were from like white philosophers, right? And from white scientists, right? Like European, right? Even the language that's spoken, it's like, it's so much more respectable to know English and to be able to speak English as opposed to traditional languages like Twi and Ga, right? And it's the same here in America. And so me as a Black American, when I am approaching somebody about a topic as sensitive as money, as finances, as generational wealth, as financial literacy and financial freedom, things that everybody wants, when I'm approaching these subjects, sometimes because of how I look and how I'm perceived, it is not received in the way that it would be from somebody else from another community, right? But at the same time, I'm very grateful to say that now is the perfect time to be having these conversations when we are in the middle of a global pandemic, right? And people understand now more than ever how important a legacy is, how important it is to save, how important it is to invest, how important it is to be in control of our lives. And what I found during this last year, especially, is so many more people are open-minded to this conversation. And that's all I ask. Just be open-minded, receive the information. If you can do something with it, amazing. If you cannot do anything with it, then who do you know that can? That's all that I ask.
Yeah. Okay. That's a very good explanation to the question I asked. I want to ask you another question. Do you think that going to school can make one rich?
That's a good question. You must have these questions written down.
No, 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 no. I mean, they're just many of the questions I'm asking right now. They're just
Yeah.
popping up in my head as a result of what you
Wow.
are sharing right.
That's good.
So
That's really good.
because we've
Yeah.
been brought up to believe that we must go to school. I mean, get good grades, get a
Yeah.
job, and in getting the job, we just do our best to work and then be able to make money. The point basically is that since you are running a financial institution that seeks to educate people and be sure that people are financially free, do you think that going to school will make one rich or can make one rich? Do you think that?
I know that going to school can make one poor. I know that, right? In terms of the money that we must pay in order to receive
Absolutely.
this education.
Absolutely.
And especially here in America, right? I know that here in America, schooling is very, very expensive, especially. So we have public education that is free, right? Even though our parents pay taxes for that public education, it's free. But compared to a private education, right? Compared to being really prepared for what life has to offer that you receive in like private schools. I believe in Ghana, they call it like primary school of something of that
Yeah.
nature. Like here we have like middle school and high school, right? And then there's college, right? College is very, very expensive. It's very, especially to receive a proper education. Is very, and when I say expensive, I mean maybe $100,000, $100,000. So that I believe in CDs, that's about 400,000 CDs, right? If somebody can even imagine that, that's how much it is to attend a university here in America, right? Most people, especially who come from the families that I come from, do not have access to those financial resources, which is why I do this work. So most people, much like myself, even though I got very good grades in school, I received very good marks in school, but I did not receive a scholarship. I did not receive an opportunity to have my education paid for. So I borrowed money from the government, right? I borrowed much, much money from the government in order to fund my schooling. And on that money, I am owing interest. So it is not just the money that I borrowed, but it's the money that I borrowed plus what I have to pay back to the government. Yeah, interest. And essentially, people will graduate. They'll go to school at maybe 18, right? They will graduate at 20, 21, 22, and then they will be paying back those loans. So for 4 years of student loans, most Americans pay that back for the rest of their life or until maybe 50, 60 years old, right? And I want you to think about that. You go to school for 3 or 4 years, you take out a few student loans, and most Americans are paying that back for the rest of their life because of the interest that they accumulate. So to answer your question, going to school can make you very poor, very poor. In terms of becoming rich, when you think of all the billionaires in the world, all the billionaires, and I don't want anybody watching this to think money is everything because it's not, but it is up there with oxygen. It's very important. Money is very important. I don't want to skip over that. I don't want to lessen that. I don't want anybody watching this to think that money is not important because obviously it is. At the same time, exactly. And I love that question you asked because in today's world, there's so many ways. I mean, even you are in Ghana. Yes, you are currently in Ghana. I am in America. We are 7,000 miles apart. 7,000 miles, many, many time zones, but we are having a conversation as if we are face to face.
Absolutely.
Right now, sharing this powerful information that even 10, 15 years ago, our communities did not have access to. So today in the world, there are far less excuses for what we are able to do and the opportunities that we have. But the real question is, this is the real question for everybody watching. What is the value that we are adding? That's the question. Because it's not a matter of money and how to make money, because anybody can have a job. Most people can go to school. But at the end of the day, what are you learning to do? What are you learning to provide? And how are you using all the resources available to provide that? Because money is just an exchange. If you are providing value to somebody, like I've seen your page, you have many, many good videos that I didn't even know about. And after this conversation, I'm going to go and watch them because they look very, very interesting. Yes. I'm going to go and watch. I'm going to share them with my friends because I see value in that. And I'm praying that we can monetize that so you can do this for the rest of your life if you don't plan to already. That is the value exchange. You don't have to go to school for that. You don't have to go to college to be a human being and to be authentic and to have conversations that other people are interested in watching and taking part in. You don't need school for that. But at the same time, I'm not saying don't go to school, but if you cannot afford school and you feel like you have a natural God-given talent and ability that you can use in the world to add value, do that. Go for it. Just see what happens.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay, so since you've said this, that you don't have to go to school to be rich, that is to mean that institution going to school won't necessarily make you rich. Can you share three things with us that those watching us right now, just three things that anybody can implement, anybody can do, that in any circumstances, in any way, just like these times we are in right now, we can at least be making $100, maybe a month, maybe a week, to be able to say that, well, we are also building some financial stability. We are also having some financial stability. Can you share three things with us that we can use, that you think that these are the three things that if anybody should implement, it will work for us? So can you share that with us?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad you asked, because this is what I do. When I sit down and have a conversation just like this, when somebody's referred to me and they say, I want to do better financially, I want to make better decisions, I want to have control over my life, I sit down and I share with them these three things. And the first one is to make a decision. Make a decision. That's the first thing you need to do. Make a decision in your mind, because honestly, most people are very indecisive, right? And so they have decisions being made for them by their parents, by the government, by schooling, by the bank. People are telling them their entire lives what to do, and then they end up at the end of their life having nothing to show for it because they were not able to make a decision. So that's number one. Make a decision about, if you're watching this, decide, what direction do I want my life to go in? Where do I want to be when it is all said and done? And it doesn't have to take 50 years. It could take 50 days, because believe that God is on your side. And when you make a decision, the universe will create a path for you to end where you want to be, for the better or for the worse. So that's number one, make a decision. Number two, right? And this is more technical, okay? There is something I teach called the 50-30-20 rule. The 50-30-20 rule. It's very simple. Imagine your income, what you make is a pie, okay? And you want to cut that pie into three pieces. One piece is half, and then you make one more cut, that's 30%, and another one, that's 20%. Very simple, okay? Very simple. So you take that 50% and you spend that on your needs, okay? And people might be like, what do I need? Think about the things you need to survive, okay? You need your rent for your housing. You need your food for your sustenance. You need your clothing to protect your body, okay? Those are needs, okay? And then 30% is wants. So you spend 30% on things that you want. Like, for example, if you are dating somebody, if you are married, right, on date nights. Very simple. Everybody here should be doing date nights. I need to get better at that myself.
Absolutely.
30%. And this is like restaurants, right? This is like maybe buying a nice pair of shoes, maybe buying a brand new suit, maybe buying a laptop or a new piece of technology, a new phone. Those are wants. You should not exceed 30% of your income on things that you want. And the last 20%, this is the most important. This last 20% has to be invested into yourself.
Wow.
The last 20% needs to be invested into yourself. How I invest into myself? Save money. Set 20% of everything that you make, you should be paying to yourself. Because think about it. If you're only paying 20% to yourself, 80% of what you make is being paid to somebody else. And then we live an entire life and we wonder, why am I 60 and I have nothing for retirement? Why am I 60 and I have nothing to give to my children? Why am I 60 and I do not own a home or property? Because we spend our entire lives paying somebody else so they can have all the things that we want. So I'm not saying save 80% of your income unless you can. That's a matter of increasing your income. But if you are a regular citizen and you have a job, then more than likely 20% is much more reasonable just to start out with savings. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's number 2. Yeah, that was a bit of a long answer, so I'll keep number 3 short. Okay. Number 3, and this is a big one, especially in today's world, because we look at Amazon. Okay. We look at Uber. Okay. We look at like Airbnb. I'm not sure if I have in Ghana Airbnb, right? And we have. There we go. I love Ghana. Last time, so I went again in 2018, I believe. Right, my second time was in 2018.
We're even having a chat.
Yes. Oh my goodness, amazing experience. So much change in those 3 years. Because I came back to America in 2015 after a year in Ghana, and I went back the second time in 2018. So much change in those 3 years. Right, Ghana is doing amazing things. I'm so proud of Ghana. You all should be proud to be true Ghanaians, right? But what I will say is that there's so much change happening, and you look at the biggest companies in the world that I just mentioned, Amazon, Uber, Airbnb, and maybe a few others. They did not create anything new, right? And when you think about it, Amazon is a store that owns no inventory. Amazon doesn't sell their products. They sell everybody else's products. And we go there to buy it because they are a distribution service. They are a source of distribution. And I want you all to think of yourself in that way. Because if you are working a job, there's nothing wrong with a job, right? But I don't know anybody who has a job that's wealthy. I don't. I know nobody who works for somebody else and is building wealth, let alone generational wealth, financial freedom for their family. I don't know anybody doing that. So what I will say is what they have done, the founders of these companies, they took something that was old, like hotels, right? Like stores, right? Like taxis. They took something that was old and they just revolutionized it. They didn't create anything new. They just created a newer, faster, better way to distribute it. That's it. So I want you, if you're watching this, think of yourself in that way. What can I take that is old? For example, I love what Kwesi Global has done, right? Because you've taken television and you have made it newer and better. You are providing value because you are bringing guests onto your show who are having amazing conversations. I was scrolling the page on YouTube. If you're watching this, scroll through the page on YouTube. You will see there are business owners on there. You will see there are food samplings on there. You will see there are things of much, much value, including financial literacy and education, that everybody is looking for. Ask yourself, how can I do something similar? It does not need to be on YouTube. You don't need to be in front of a camera. Maybe you could be behind the camera. Maybe you are really, really good at making jollof. Maybe. And you should start maybe distributing it, giving out some samples to your friends and family, right? Giving out some samples to your neighbors and just saying, hey, I am starting my own small business making jollof. I just wanted to try it. I will not even charge you. All that I ask, if you enjoy it, share it with somebody else. It's that simple. Take something that you already do. Maybe you are an amazing poet. Maybe you're an amazing artist. Maybe you're an amazing mother, and you can start a daycare center helping to take care of other people's children. What I'm saying is rule number 3, create multiple streams of income. Do not be dependent on one stream of income, because if that income goes away or it becomes smaller, then so does your life. And if you are already struggling, create more streams of income. So that's number 3, create more streams. So number 1, make a decision. Number 2, 50-30-20 rule. Save 20% of your income, pay yourself 20% no matter what. If you can do more, never less than 20%. And number 3, create multiple streams of income and make your job your hobby. A lot of people make their job their main thing, and then they give everything else in their life whatever they have left. Why don't you do it in reverse? Why don't you give your main energy to your family and to your hobby or your side business? You make your job your side jobs, and you make your business your main business. Try it.
You know, I have a video on my channel titled part-time hobby, and then I think one other topic. I was talking about how that those things are actually the real deal, Because at the end of the
Yeah.
day, when we focus on our hobbies, the things that we consider as hobbies or the things that we consider as part-time, doing them part-time, they are the actual thing that would actually give us more money to be able to implement things like the way you are saying, that we can do the 50-50, the 50-30-20, and then making a decision and then being able to
Yeah.
save and then being able to have all these things in play. But it's sad how many of us don't really consider those things because, well, I could make money from selling jollof. That alone could be a part-time thing that somebody is doing. But if you focus your energy and time on it, it can give you more money. And then probably you do makeup or photography, and then you do all that together. If you focus on all of that, you can make money just by probably having a good balance, and then you'll be good. Correct?
That's it. That's correct.
That's good.
Correct.
That's good. Okay, I think that we have to have time and talk about this again, right? But before we
Yes.
go,
Yes.
I want to ask just
Yes.
one last question, right? Since
Yes.
you are newly married, I think it's been like
Yes.
2 years now. 2 years now that you're
No,
married.
no,
Isn't it?
it's been maybe 6 months.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Very short,
How
small.
okay, that's great. But how has that affected you as somebody who is running a business and running a marriage? I mean, family. That how has
Yeah.
that been so far? How has that been so far?
Yes.
Is it a difficult thing? Because for many people that are running business, they might think that, well, because I overheard somebody say you must marry your business. Is it the right thing to do? So how has it been for you so far? Running a business and
Yes.
running a family, because you have a wife
Yeah.
and then a home. How is that going?
Yeah.
How is that going?
Great question. Great question. So I will say, because I have been married for maybe 6 months time, and I have been running a business so I have run the business for 2 years, right? It's been over 2 years now, and I've been married for a little less than 6 months. And one thing I will say is, if anything, my business is like my second wife, right? So my first wife is always the most important. She's the foundation, but my business is definitely a second wife. And I will say that I am so loving and committed to both of my wives, but sometimes I must choose, right? Just like when you have a first and a second wife, a third and a
Yeah,
fourth wife, you must
yeah,
choose, right? You must prioritize. And so what has helped me the most is scheduling. And we will talk about this in our next conversation. But for the business owners who are watching this, for the men and the women who are watching this, who might be very passionate about your business and also passionate about your marriage, and you see what the business can provide to both, but at the same time, only one is irreplaceable, right? And
yeah,
that is your spouse. That is who
yeah.
essentially God has assigned to you, because there's a mission larger than just your business. And this is something that I have learned, because I'm a very passionate person. I mean, you saw me performing poetry, right? I
Absolutely.
put my heart into everything that I do. And that's another thing I'll add. Whatever you do, just put your heart into it, right? Understand you might fail. Failure is a good thing. Okay, I know
Absolutely.
in school we did not learn that, because they would take the ruler and smack our hands if we got the answer wrong.
Definitely.
Definitely, right? But failure is a good thing. As a matter of fact, think of failure like gasoline for your car. If you do not have gasoline in your car, you will go nowhere. But with the gasoline, your car can explode. Okay?
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean it will explode. You still need gasoline to move your car. Okay? So think of failure in that way. At the same time, in business, in marriage, in life, choose to fail forward. So me personally, I have made many failures in my marriage. I have made many failures in my business. But guess what? I am still married and I still have a business. So every time, you will learn so much more from failure than you will from success. So much more. And that is a basic principle of all my mentors and all the people I look up to. Even when I think of my favorite athletes, when I think of my favorite entertainers, when I think of Kwame Nkrumah, when I think of Martin Luther King, when I think of Malcolm X and Harriet Tubman, they failed over and over and over again. That is why they succeed. So I will answer your question by saying I have failed in marriage and I have failed in business, but I am still married and I am still in business. And that is why I will be successful. Choose to fail. Choose to
Thank you
succeed.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on Kwachu Global, and then thank you so much for availing yourself and letting us have this conversation. I have learned a lot, and even the last thing you said. I mean, failure is not a bad thing. Failure is good to for success growth. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Kwesi. We'll make time to have another conversation on this, and then we'll see how we can help others be able to be financially free. Thank you so much, and I'm
Amen.
glad to have you, and I'm glad to know you.
Yes,
Thank you.
blessing. Likewise. Thank you,
And thank
brother.
you so much for your
Thank
time, the value, the insight, and all of that. So
you.
everybody who is watching right now, I'm going to put his details in the description. Do well to reach out to Kwesi on Instagram, on Facebook, and get to learn more about finances and learn how to be financially free, so you can help your family, so you can leave a legacy, and those coming after you, they can benefit from you. Thanks so much for
Yeah.
watching, and I am Koto Global. Peace out.
Peace, y'all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, brother. All right. Bye bye then. All right, guys. That's the end of our session. If you learned something, leave it in the comment section and let's know how this helped you. I have learned a lot. You must make a decision. You must have a 50-30-20 rule, and then you must have a multiple streams of income. Wow, that is solid. It says then also it also says that while there's poverty, you can have $1 billion and then you still be poor. I learned so much, so many things from that. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being part of today's LS. Apologies. Thanks for joining. I'm Kwachu Global, and once again, I share real life stories with you to heal the world. Bye bye.